Okay, with us is Mr. Tounosidis, Olympian from Beijing, Peking, also a great wrestler, originally from Greece, but you now live in Sweden, yes?
Yes, I'm born and raised in Sweden, and I have competed for Sweden and Greece.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the project, Wrestling in a Safe Mode?
I'm really happy to be part of this. If we can implement this in the training in the early ages, I think we can help wrestlers really much.
Okay, as a professional wrestler, do you have lots of problems with the injuries when your career was?
Not so much. I have been lucky, but I've had injuries in my career. One of my big injuries was in my in the last 5 years of my career. I had a big injury in my hamstring, and I think that, like when you're a wrestler, what you learn when you're 13, 14 years old, you bring with you to when you're old. So when you warm up or do things, you have the things from your early ages. And if I have had better warm-up from start, I think that I maybe could have prevented my injury. It was on the competition. It was on my fourth match against a guy from Bulgaria. I fought in '96, and I tried to lift him, and my hamstring broke. And I think that during a competition, when you do your first match, you always make a very good warm-up. Second match, not so good. Third match, not so good. I think that if you have a program, like with the rubber bands, if you have a program that takes 10 minutes, you can do it before each match, and you will get a very, very good warm-up so you can be ready for the match. Unfortunately, on that day, I did not warm up good before the match. And when I tried to lift him, my hamstring broke, and I had a problem for almost 8 months before I could come back to wrestling. So if I would have prevented this, I think I would have been much better for my career in the long term, because I have still problems with my leg, even today. So I think it's very early that we start in the early ages to learn our children in our wrestling community, but in other sports also, to have different training or warm-ups with different equipment, Bulgarian bag or rubber bands, so we can help them to have it, so they can have it with them the whole career. And if they have it, I think we will prevent many, many injuries. So I believe very much in this concept.
Okay. As you said, you live in Sweden.
Yeah.
You tell me before that you have kids in wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, you start work as a coach.
Yeah, so now I am a trainer for my own children, but also for 15 other children. It's a very big responsibility as a coach when you train small children, because you have to be a good example, a role model, and you have to learn them correct training, so you don't do.
I want to ask you, for example, how do you do that in Sweden? Do you have some time for prevention before training, after training? Do you tell your group, guys, now you need to stay after the training and we do 15 minutes stretching, or we need to prevent some injuries with these exercises?
So of course, when I train these children, I take everything that I have learned before in my career as a wrestler, and with all my coaches, because I have had very, very, very good coaches. I had Richard Schwirad as my first coach. He was incredible. I also had Neno Jovanovic as my coach. He's also a very, very good friend to me. So I have very good coaches from before, so I have learned good things. So I try to implement these things and also things that I have learned in my life when I studied them, etc., etc. So I always start with a warm-up where the kids have to play a little bit, because it has to be fun. But always when they play and after, we try to do stretching, we try to do warm-up so they get warm, so they are not stiff in the muscles. And then we do exercises with the body, with each other, before we start training, throws or something else.
For the end,
yes.
Can you send a message to young coaches from you? You were a great wrestler, just to give them a message in a few sentences.
A message would be to keep your ears open, always try to learn from other coaches, from other people, from other sports. Don't think that you know everything, that you know best, because we can learn from each other, and this collaboration is a very good example of it. You have 3 countries that combine and help each other to do a very, very good thing for the wrestling community, not only for our countries, for the whole wrestling community. So try to learn from each other and try to help each other. It's very, very important. Wrestling is not the biggest sport, but it's very important that we take care of each other.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.